Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. To another episode of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Let me just move this out the way. So clearly, I am not at home. I am move some things out the way. I am in St. Louis at my god sister's house, and yeah, so I thought I'd come live from here and say hello and see what's up with everybody, see how you're doing. Um, anyway, if this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Carla Renata. You've tuned into the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, and what we do here is we do reviews of films, and I interview people above and below the line in the film industry. I don't have a bunch of reviews this week because a bunch of stuff came out last week, and I'll deal with that next week. But I got a new haircut. Thank you, Tracy. Legacy by Tracy for doing this. Anywho, I have a bunch of stuff. I didn't do a lot of things last week, so I usually talk about what I did the week before. I didn't do anything the week before except get ready for Turkey Day, which was yesterday, and I hope that you had a good Turkey Day. But what I do have for you today is this. I want to remind you, as I have been for like the last couple of weeks, my Christmas movie, The Christmas Showdown, is coming on OWN this week. It's coming up on December 6th. It is also going to be available to be streamed via HBO Max. It's called OWN for the Holidays. It stars from the left to the right of your screen Amber Stevens West, Loretta Devine, Corbin Reed, myself, Oba Babatunde, and Beverly Todd. And this week, you can catch on OWN for the Holidays Fake a Merry Little Christmas, which stars Etienne Maurice and Kiki Lane. They are on the far left corner. That aired on Thanksgiving. No, it aired yesterday, so you can check that out. And then Christmas Showdown comes on next Saturday, my film. And then Very Merry Mystery will come on the week after that. But all three of these films can be seen the whole holiday season. And here is pictures of all of the people that are featured in the films, including your girl on the lower right-hand corner. All right, so today we're going to get into Cassandra Freeman, who is the star of Bel Air. She plays Aunt Viv in Bel Air, which is streaming on Peacock, and we're going to get into the last season of that. And she's going to talk about some things that you may or may not know about Aunt Viv. I talked about this series. The artist in the middle there in the purple is Janet McTeer. She stars opposite Mandy Patinkin. She plays the role of Marion. We'll be talking to her. I'll be talking to all of the ladies from one battle after another, including Teyana Taylor, Chase Infinity, and Regina Hall. Here is Cassandra Freeman as Aunt Viv. I'll be talking to Lucy Liu, who has a new film out called Rosemead, and I'll be speaking with the director of F1, Mr. Joseph Kosinski. So let's get right into it. Janet McTeer, as I alluded to before, excuse me, is in a show called The Artist. And The Artist, as I had mentioned a couple of weeks back, is a series that is on the network. It's a new network, and to find it, I'll put the link up a little later, but it's network.stream, the network.stream. It is a network that is free, and it's ad-supported premium streaming platform that launched in May 2024 by Aaron Rappaport. He's aired a bunch of things on this, but this particular show is in the twilight of the Gilded Age. Murder strikes the estate of an eccentric and failing tycoon, and as he hosts the era's biggest celebrities, including Thomas Edison, Edgar Degas, and Evelyn Nesbit, lies, mystery, and ambition collide as the truth is shockingly revealed. I'm about to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. That was terrible. Anywho, I spoke with Janet McTeer about her character, and she actually reveals some very interesting things. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Janet McTeer about her role in The Artist.
I love you so much in general,
Oh,
just from the theater. But when I
thank
saw you
you.
in this, girl, ooh, you were a powerhouse in this. I couldn't, I was like, ooh, what's Marion gonna do next? I was living for your character. I really,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I really, really was. And I'm just interested to know, would you rather be a woman in 1906 or now, or is there really a difference?
How there is a difference. I mean, God bless them. We have sat on the back of those women who fought and fought and fought for the freedoms we have now. And now it's up to us to fight and fight for the freedoms that are attempting to be taken away from us. So let's not let that happen for the future generation of women. When I was younger, I used to think, I wish I could be a man because it would just be so much easier. And then as I grew up, I just thought, I'd rather be a woman because men are really annoying. They're also deeply lovable. But I just thought I'd much rather be a woman. Women are just better.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are. And we get stuff done too. How about
I
that?
know. You want something done, ask a busy woman.
That part. Did you know that Marion Henry's name is actually the same name as Tom Cruise's sister?
Actually, I did not know that.
I was researching and I found that out, and I thought that was hilarious.
I
was
did
like,
not
I
know
had
that.
to,
That is so
I was like, I had to
funny.
tell Janet that because I thought that was pure comedy.
Oh, that is hysterical. That's brilliant.
I thought that was so funny. Now, I I love how we see Marion's whole story unfold from her point of view, and that
Yeah.
her and Norman have like this very volatile and complicated relationship. What is it
Yeah.
that you think keeps them together until they aren't?
I think they are together because they had no choice. And I think because she certainly didn't have a choice and they had no money, they lost all their money. So, they're stuck in this big house in the middle of nowhere. And I think at that time, she certainly didn't think she had a way to leave and go anywhere and have a different kind of life. And so what that brings up for her, the kind of rage and the kind of the anger at her, the situation of her and the others. And that's why she has sympathy, which I was very strong about, for, as well as rage and annoyance and everything else, but sympathy for the young ballerina and the young woman who comes in who's committed a murder. And
Yeah.
because I think she would look at these younger women and go, there but for the grace of God go I, in a different way. So, and I just think that's what made her start boxing, because she was so cross.
How elated were you to take on this type of character on screen? I know you've done this on stage a zillion times, but to do this on screen in this time frame is just really delicious to watch. How elated were you to take it on?
I was really elated, and I love that word. I was absolutely elated. And part of elation is also humor. It just made me laugh so much. It just made me, and I'm a person who likes to laugh a lot. And because Aram, who wrote and directed it, is so collaborative. When he asked me to do it, I found a picture of women boxing in the Gilded Age. And I went, I'll do it if you let me look like this. And he went, I will. And I went, then I'll do the job. Because I didn't want to look proper. I didn't want to look fancy. I just thought, she just doesn't give a shit anymore. She doesn't care. She doesn't care what she looks like. Her clothes don't fit. She doesn't want anyone doing her hair. She just, those days are over, and how am I going to get free? And to a certain extent, that's what the piece is about.
I loved everything about the way you inhabited her. I love everything about the way you made her come to life on the screen. And like you, because you like to laugh, every time Marion hit the screen, I hollered because I'm like, oh, what's she going to do next? She would just go in full throttle on people, and it made me so happy.
I know, it made me so happy too. I can't tell you. Did you see the scene where Patti LuPone comes in, or is that later in this?
That's later.
That's later. Well, Patti LuPone, who's a pal, she turned up to do one day's filming. We had such a laugh. We were done by lunchtime. We just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed all the way through our scenes, and they just shot it. Boom, done. Go for lunch. It was just a joy, just a complete and utter joy.
And what I also love, in wrapping it up, what I also love about this show is that it has so many Broadway legends in it. I mean, it's just one Broadway person after
I
another.
know, I
And I
know.
come from the Broadway community, so I was getting my entire life watching this. I
It's
was.
so great. And, sometimes it meant, when Hank came in, when Patty Lake came in, and Zach came in, I would just sit there and go, I just had to do this for ages, just having fun watching these legends have a laugh. It was just bliss.
But you're one of those legends too. And I want to thank you,
Oh,
Miss
thanks.
Legend, for giving me some of your time today to talk
Well,
about
thank you, Miss Legend, too.
I love you, Miss Janet.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was delightful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, for those of you who are not familiar with Janet McTeer, let me tell you who she is. She is a Tony winning actress. She won a Tony for playing the role of Nora in A Doll's House on Broadway. She's also known for her roles in Ozark. She's been in Harry Potter films. She was in a TV series called Mobland. She was in a film called Portrait of a Marriage. She was in Marvel's Jessica Jones. The girl works, okay? And she got an Oscar nomination for her roles in Tumbleweeds and Albert Nobbs. What are y'all talking about over here? Okay, before I get to the next one, let's talk to Brandon. Brandon says, Zootopia 2 was amazing as the first. Hopefully we don't have to wait 9 more years for 3. I agree. They do tease a third one at the end. You're absolutely right. They do. What's up in here? Hey, Britt, what's up? And that's Brandon saying hello to Brian. Zootopia 2 is easily the best movie of the year. It's one of the best animated movies of the year. I wouldn't go as far to say it's the best movie of the year, Brandon, but I appreciate a brother weighing in. All right. So again, you guys, that interview was with Miss Janet McTeer, who is from, hold on, I'm getting my stuff mixed up. Here we go. Who is from The Artist. The Artist can be found at the moniker of www.thenetwork.stream. www.thenetwork.stream. I'll put it up toward the end so that you guys can have it and watch these shows because they're absolutely fantabulous, as I have said. All right. So now, Cassandra Freeman. Cassandra Freeman, for the last 4 seasons, has played Aunt Viv on Bel-Air, and Bel-Air has been the dramatic version of the Bel-Air Fresh Prince, which has been airing on Peacock for the last 4 seasons. She has done an exemplary job with this character. I kind of hate to see them go because I was a fan of the show, as am I a fan of her. She had a role in a film earlier this year that was produced by Andre Holland, who I've spoken to on this show a few times. The movie is called Love Brooklyn, and she plays somebody drastically different than what she plays in Bel-Air as Aunt Viv, but I want you all to take a look and a listen to what she has to say about embarking on this final season of Bel-Air. Here we go.
Throughout the course of this Bel-Air journey, I loved that Aunt Viv was from Howard because I, too, am a Howard University Bison. I won't hold it against you.
Okay.
I won't hold it against you that you was at Florida State. I won't hold it against
Ma'am, I would have my mom went to Howard as well. Yeah, and a lot of my family, of course, are HBCU sort of people. Only reason I went to my school is that they offered me a full ride, and I could not say no to that. So I went right on over.
Listen, I understand. I would have had a free ride too.
And listen, I was out here being like, well, somebody, y'all the only one in the back. No, guess I'm going over here.
You are hilarious.
But being on that campus, I mean, we were all saying how, wow, we really missed out on like a one-of-a-kind experience. Like the nervous system on that campus is so different.
Yeah, it's bananas. It is crazy. It's crazy.
You're very lucky. You're like one of the lucky ones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I know that you all are about to embark on this last and final season of Bel-Air that hits Peacock on November 24th. one of my favorite episodes of all the seasons was in season two, when you broke down Phyllis Wheatley to Ashley, educating us about our history, right? And as an art historian, as I'm Viv being an art historian in the course of this journey of hers, what kind of art history were you enlightened by while shooting Bel Air?
Well, fun fact, I'm related to Bernard and Shirley Kinsey, who are one of the biggest art collectors in America. So I grew up living in a house filled with some of the most extraordinary artists. You can imagine, from Charles White, Jonathan Green, so many people, Phoebe Beasley, like so many of the people, Ernie Bonds, Howard University is the reason why so many of these artists even exist, actually. So I came into the show with more knowledge than even the writers had.
So they made that part of your arc then because of your background. Did they know you had that background?
They didn't know that when they cast me. So when they cast me, I kept saying, I was like, I know a lot. Hey guys, I can, no one's listening. Hey, and so my aunt,
no one's listening.
No one's listening. They think I'm just like being like fun. And so my aunt and uncle, while we were shooting, they actually had a huge installation at the SoFi that took over the entire first floor, which is like thousands of square feet. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, everyone, Tina knows, anybody you name, everybody came to see the collected art of the Kinsey collection. So I brought Bel Air and the producers, and they were like, oh my God, this is your film. I'm like, yes. So actually that part is only because my aunt and uncle own an original copy of Phyllis Wheatley's work. A lot of the things that were in that episode is because they got to see the actual artifact. My aunt and uncles have the original Emancipation Proclamation, but they also have Mayhew's paintings, so many amazing artists they got to see, touch in real life. So they have artifacts that are historical artifacts that root to the excellence that has always existed since we have touched ground in this country, all the way to the actual paintings and the stories behind these paintings, how Black women would support these Black men so they could do the paintings, and vice versa, and how we would win all sorts of tournaments and these white folks wouldn't believe us, and they say, paint it again in front of us right now, and we'd have to start, honey, yes, so no, they learned from me.
All right, well, there you have it. As we close out this interview, oh man, I could talk to you forever.
Oh my gosh. No, you can have a few more minutes. It's okay.
No,
girl. Way too long on that.
No. But what I want to close it out with is, you've had such a beautiful arc and such a beautiful journey in these last 3 seasons. Some were up, some were down. But what can we look forward to for Aunt Viv in season 4?
I think this season is her embracing and surrendering to reality at a space that is about her life and about her husband's life. Ease. What can a new chapter look like? So we end at the beginning of a new chapter all at the same time. I think people are going to be very satisfied and very surprised, and also hopefully look at their own life. And it's really about, I think throughout all these seasons, you see Aunt Viv slowly taking off mask of what she's supposed to be like. And honey, I think this final season is she's like, let me take off this last mask. I am tired.
She took off her lashes and her wig, right?
I think so, to a certain extent. I think that's what it has to be for all of us. I keep saying, as we get older, we can't take in all that cortisol. So what do you do to bring more peace in your life? And that's to surrender to what is so and what is easiest so you can have the best life.
I love that. That's such a beautiful way to bring this to a close. Cassandra Freeman, Aunt Viv, Bel Air. Girl, it has been a pleasure to watch you on the show, to watch your journey through this show, to watch you do other things that are the complete antithesis of this. You are so gifted and so talented. I truly hope with all my heart and soul that the future is so incredibly bright for you that it hurts your eyes.
I received that. Thank you so much for the support and for the genuine love. It means so much to us. You know, you do this show in isolation, so you don't know how people feel until moments like this. So it really means a lot to me, and I will cherish every word you just shared with me. Thank you.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Try to stay out of them clouds.
Honey, amen. Amen.
All right. Bye.
So I was telling her how to try to stay out of them clouds. I walked right into a snowstorm in St. Louis. And there you have that. Anywho, you guys, Bel Air is streaming right now on Peacock TV. Please check it out. If you have not seen anything before season 4, watch all 4 seasons so that you can go on the journey of Aunt Viv from season 1 to season 4. Thank you, Cassandra Freeman, for your time. You're the bomb. All right. So in addition to Cassandra, I also spoke to 4 major heavyweight ladies. So, but before I get to the ladies, I'm going to get to this man. So F1, the movie, is a film that was released over the summer. It's directed by Joseph Kosinski, who's done so many action films, and it stars Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. Joseph and I sit down and we talk about how he films those crash scenes and how he goes about choosing actors who we know Brad Pitt and Damson Idris can act, but how do you choose an actor and put them in a car driving 180 miles an hour? I'm gonna let him tell you right now.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Carla. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Man, I love this movie.
Oh,
I'm
thank
such
you.
a fan of these types of films.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. The one thing that really struck me was the casting. How did you go into the casting for this? Because it's one thing to get a really great actor, but it's another thing to get somebody who feels comfortable driving at 180 miles an hour.
That's right. Well, I knew I would need, there's only a few people that could kind of be at the center of a film this big and this complicated. So, you know, Brad Pitt obviously was my first choice, and, you know, lucky for me, really resonated with the story and how I was going to shoot it, and turned out to be an incredible driver as well. Damson Idris, you know, someone that I knew a little bit. He had done mostly television, but so I brought him in and had him read a few scenes and knew instantly that he had what it took to play Joshua Pierce. Then we sent him to the racetrack to see if he could drive, and saw that he had that kind of natural ability that could be trained. So both he and Brad spent 4 months training to drive these cars to be able to pull this off. So I can't imagine making it without them. And then the rest of the cast just worked very closely with my casting director, Lucy Bevan, out of the UK, and she helped me assemble this extraordinary cast, including, you know, the legendary Javier Bardem, who's someone I always wanted to work with, and just brought so much heart to the character of Ruben. And you know, that friendship between him and Brad is such a central part of this film, and required kind of to make it all work.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by Brad's driving. He's from Missouri, as am I.
Okay.
And if you navigate the winter in Missouri, honey, you can drive anywhere.
Hey, I'm from Iowa,
anytime.
so I'm the same way. I learned on the gravel and the snow, and that's a good training ground.
Yeah, I understand. I just want to ask you one more question. I know that you come from a digital side, and you went from the digital side to developing a full camera system in order to shoot these race sequences.
Yeah.
How about those crash scenes? Like, how do you navigate shooting a crash scene, and do you do it more than once?
Yeah, so Joshua's crash at Monza, we built a giant kind of almost catapult system and had 2 cars. So I had 2 takes for that. The first take, we shot the car and it landed like 30 feet short of where we wanted it to. So I told our special effects coordinator to crank up the power. And on the second take, we ended up shooting it about 50 feet past the spot we thought it was going to land, but it ended up being so spectacular, we kept it in the film. And it ends up really mimicking a real-life crash that happened on that same corner a few years earlier. So, you know, I love live-action filmmaking. I love that sometimes these happy accidents happen where you get something even better than you anticipated. And that's the reason to, you know, do this all for real. You know, it's like, sure, you could do everything in, you know, CG, but there's nothing like shooting action for real, and it just feels more visceral, and I think the audience appreciates that.
Well, I appreciated you because low key, Well, high key, I really wanted to be a race car driver when I was a little girl.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got my entire life when I was watching this movie, and I'm getting my entire life by having the opportunity to talk to you about it. Thank you so, so much for
So
giving
nice
me
to
your
meet you.
time
Thank you very
today.
much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
That's absolutely true. I really did want to be a race car driver. My mom was having none of it. My mother was like, no, and she accuses me of driving like a truck driver even today. So there's that. Insti-hoo. Thank you, Joseph Kosinski. And if you have not seen F1 the movie, check it out, you guys. It's really interesting, especially those crash scenes that Joseph talked about. They're very, very intriguing. Brandon has one more message for me, I believe. He says, I do want to get the art book for Zootopia 2 for Christmas, and you shall. I'm sure that someone will gift it to you. I'd gift it to you myself if I knew where to send it to you, but it's gonna happen, I promise. Anyway, back to the show. So I had the opportunity to speak with Lucy Liu, Chase Infinity, Regina Hall, and Teyana Taylor. When I spoke to Lucy Liu, she has a film coming out called Rosemead, and it centers around mental health. And instead of me just telling you about it, I'll let Lucy and her co-star tell you all about it because it's a very interesting conversation. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Lucy Liu and her co-star about their new film, Rosemead.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Carla. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you, girl. You did the damn thing in this movie. Oh my God. I was so riveted by your portrayal of Irene. I don't even have enough adjectives to adequately
Oh,
describe it. Like it was really fabulous.
thank
I
you very
I feel
much.
I feel so honored to have been able to witness that. Um, Having said that, I was viscerally moved by the fact that the authorities kept reminding Irene, when he turns 18, you're not going to have any control over what happens with him. Do you think that the medical community and society adequately deal with the mental anguish of the caregivers when it comes to something like that by large? Do you think that the caregivers are ignored because they just kept saying, oh, when he turns 18, but they never really tried to help her?
I think there's such a lack of advocacy, and I think you caught it because most people are talking about all these other things, but you are the first person that actually mentioned it. So kudos to you. I believe that that actually was the straw that broke the camel's back, in addition to her diagnoses, right? And I think there was a fear and an urgency that kicked in as soon as that happened. And the fact that she did not quite understand fully the language really did not allow her to understand and investigate the other options that were, in front of her. And I think she was already behind, you know, in all in all manners and degrees. I mean, she was not able to understand even the therapist saying, schizophrenics don't actually act out in violence, even though she showed him these pictures that she had found on his computer. She was working from a great deal of displacement. And when you do things from a deficit, you are not going to be able to gain. And so that is the tragedy, like watching this unravel and how this woman is struggling to keep her, her son, who she's losing right in front of her, And I think oftentimes we feel that way, not just about our own families, our own kids, but even ourselves, to keep up with everything and all, it's just not just with technology, but just with life and the combination of everything. It's so overwhelming. And that is the complexity of life.
Yeah, I was saying to someone a little earlier that in the Black community, mental health is a thing. They don't like to talk about it, they don't like to address it, they don't even like to deal with it. And I was wondering how you feel about that in the Asian community, because I feel like it's only communities of color that have that issue. Like other sectors of society don't have that issue, but communities of color are like, no, you should keep it in the family, you should never tell anybody outside the family. And sometimes you just need to talk to somebody that's not related to you.
There is absolutely a stigma connected with mental health in our community. And I think there is a marginalization of what we are able to afford. We're just trying to get a medical checkup, not let alone therapy. I mean, therapy was never even a question in my family. That is an added on. It's like, oh, you have a gym membership? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? So it's like, these are extras that we can't afford. So let's just stick to the fact that you are eating, you got a roof over your head, you're lucky. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to go outside the box because you're not grateful for the things that you have. And I think that there is a lack of education and a lack of actual accessibility for us because we are not the same, and we never have been, right? We've always been something either coming from another country, brought over against our will, working on the, railroad, pulling the rickshaw. There's so many different ways that we have this generation, transmission of trauma that we don't even know that we carry. And this woman was not even born in America. So she has it directly, and she's dealing with grief of her husband, dying, her own loss of her own, health, and even the loss of her son. And I think that there's so many topics that are embedded in this movie that are, I guess, not necessarily billboarded, but they are there. And I think that's why you probably felt it on a deep level, because it wasn't just about, the story that happened. It was the story behind the story that could not be told, that you felt, right? And I think this is a felt movie, not an explained movie. And I often say that there really are more questions than answers after you see this movie.
I would totally agree with that. I have so many more things, girl, that I could discuss with you because, like you said, there's so many different layers to the film. But that is my time. Lucy Liu, thank you so much for your artistry. Thank you for your time today. I'm telling you, you did it. You did this. You did this within an inch of your life. You really did. I applaud you. Snaps and claps,
Thank you
Diva.
so much. Thank you. That means a lot. And I want this to be a story that you can communicate to your family, your community as well, because it's universal. And we have to get out of that shame, blame corner. We're stuck there.
Not for long. Not for long.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you, sweetie.
So I understand that you are a big supporter of the desire to educate about mental illness in the Asian community. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think that there needs to be improvements of the threat assessments for people suffering from mental illness?
Yes, absolutely. I think there is a big perception around mental health and schizophrenia specifically that people who struggle with mental health and schizophrenia are violent. And I think that's really problematic. I think that is why we have stories like this one, because people have a lot of assumptions. They don't educate themselves. They don't know what it means and what it feels like to have schizophrenia. And as a result, they become scared because of misinformation. We see all the time, people talking about, oh my God, this tragedy happened here. There was this violent event happened here. But we don't get the full story. We don't understand. And as a result, it's so deeply problematic for our society because people with mental health issues, they can live fulfilling and happy lives. They can be okay. But we as human beings just need to learn to educate ourselves and to teach these people how to ask for help and how to give them help ourselves.
With Joe, it was very apparent that once he turned 18, he was going to be on his own.
Yeah.
And his mother was not advocated for and not treated properly. Do you feel like we should also find some programs or find ways to adequately deal with the caregivers? Because they're just as important as the person that's going through it.
It's really damaging how the system is built because a lot of times the system is not built to advocate for people who struggle with mental health. It's not built to advocate for the caregivers. It's built for efficiency, for profit, and that's really tragic. That's why we get stories like this. Sometimes I remember talking to our journalist Frank, the person who wrote the LA Times article this story is based on. And he would say like a lot of times people who struggle, who have mental episodes, people call the police, and police with guns answer, and that's really tragic. That doesn't lead to positive outcomes, and as a result, caregivers and people who provide for these individuals, they often struggle as well because it's so hard. The system is not built for them to take care of them. A lot of times it restricts the control, and that's what you see in the film as well. The 5150 hold, it restricts how they are able to take care of these people, and it doesn't give them the resources and the advocacy to be able to take care and help these people live their lives and be okay.
For you to have been playing such a dark character, you're such a bright light in this lane, and you're an immensely bright light in this film playing Joe. Your future is literally so bright it burns my eyes. And with that, I want to thank you for giving me your time today to discuss and talk about Rosemead. It's a very important film, and I'm glad that you were a part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Lawrence Show. So Lawrence Show, the young man that you just saw, this is his feature film debut. I'm so proud of him and that he does an exemplary job playing Joe. So this is what the film is about. I didn't want to tell you before you had a chance to listen to the interview. The film is about this young man who suffers from schizophrenia. He's an Asian American young man. His mother is Asian as well, played by Lucy Liu, and there's a language barrier with her, so her English isn't she doesn't speak very good English, and she doesn't understand English very well. And in the process of all of that, as her son is getting diagnosed with schizophrenia, they consistently keep telling her when he turns 18, because he keeps going off and disappearing, and it's an issue. And they keep telling her when he turns 18, you will not have any kind of parental control over him. And she kind of freaks out, and there's some things that happen at the end of the movie that you don't see coming, but it is inspired by a LA Times article of something that happened in real life. And this is something that happens with immigrants and with mothers who have kids that suffer from mental illness all the time. It's an important film. You guys should really make it your business to check it out. It'll only be in theaters. It will not be streaming, and it releases on December 5th. Please go see Rosemead. Please support Lucy Liu and Lawrence in this film. I promise you, you won't be sorry. All right, so I know some of you have been popping in and out because I teased these interviews with my girls, Chase Infinity, Regina Hall, and Teyana Taylor. So they're in a movie that is out, produced by Warner Brothers and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, called One Battle After Another. Is very, very high on the awards conversation right now. Is people, critics, and other folk alike are discussing it and saying that it's probably going to get all kinds of Oscar nominations, if not sweep the Oscar nominations. And Regina plays a very integral role with Chase's character, she plays Willa, and Willa is the daughter of Teyana Taylor's character, Perfidia. I'll get into Perfidia when I get into this interview with Teyana, but I want you to see this. Sometimes when these subjects of these films are so incredibly intense and deep, I have a tendency to want to address the light and fluffy side because, they talk a lot about the dramatic and breaking it down and all that. And sometimes I just, want my friends to be light and fluffy, and Regina Hall is a friend. So take a take a look and a listen to this interview with Chase and Regina from One Battle After Another.
Hello. How are you? I love that whole back.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And congrats. You got an honorary doctorate earlier this year, didn't you?
I did.
So
It was
congratulations on that.
alma mater, which was very nice.
Look at you coming up in the world.
I know.
Okay, come on.
My
Second
first one
one.
was from Dillard, and which I love. And then, but it was incredibly extra special from just because
Fordham.
my school, my friends were there.
Yeah.
I felt old, Carla.
Listen, I'm older than you. We ain't even gonna go there. Okay. Let's not even go down that road. But you know what really struck me when I watched this? The moment where you connect with Chase as Willa and you give her the code words. and you say Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, how many times did y'all say that before y'all actually busted out laughing? I'm just saying.
I don't even know that we ever laughed. We were just like, because the sound, it was.
No, there was one day that we definitely were backing up, and it was the Green Acres. Yeah, because it was a rehearsal, and we kept messing up.
Wait, yeah. Yes, that is true. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, Hooterville Junction.
Will no longer be so goddamn relevant.
And people will no longer care if Nick finally got down with Jane.
See, y'all are laughing now, so I know you laughed on set. Regina, why were you trying to lie to me?
I was thinking of when we were actually shooting it.
No, it's the rehearsal.
But
that
the
we were
rehearsal,
cracking
it's
up.
the rehearsal. She's right.
Y'all are funny. Okay, so I know a little bit about names, Chase, because I was named after Hurricane Carla, and I know there's a special story behind your name. Hit me with it.
My parents really enjoy going to the movies. So when they were trying to come up with a name for me, my parents had watched Batman Forever recently, or not recently, but at the time they'd watched it recently, and they were obsessed with Nicole Kidman as Chase Meridian. They were like, regardless of gender, Chase, that's the name, thinking of her in mind because I mean, it's Nicole Kidman. But anyways, middle name comes from Toy Story, and it's when Buzz Lightyear says to infinity and beyond. So that's how my name came to be.
See, I asked you that because I know people are going to watch this and they're going to think that you were named after the bank, and I want them to know that you're not.
Listen, I have
yes.
bamboozled people.
You didn't bamboozle me.
Oh, sorry, I bamboozled Teyana.
And I knew it. And I was so mad because I was like, that's too obvious. And then she did the Xfinity, the cable company, and thought it was, and I knew it. I said no, but it was a game and we had to go as a unit. And I was like, my feeling was that was false.
Yeah, it was 2 truths and a lie, and I got them.
That is hilarious.
You really got Teyana.
No, I know both of you.
No, I disagree.
You
know, because she was so.
I'm going to stop y'all because I got 1 minute left. Y'all can argue on your time.
All right.
That's all right. So I just want to ask you this. Knowing that this is a thing about a journey of people's past catching up to them. If you were on a journey of your past catching up to you, what would you try to avoid knowing that it would adversely affect your future?
It's definitely some people I'd have left out. It's a couple of exes that would I would have been like, well, we're gonna fast forward. Fast forward. Yeah, we just skipped. That button on your on your remote. I've been like, let's go way past that. Yeah. Delete. But that's okay. We learned from them all.
That's all good. Well, child, that's my time. They giving me the hook. I enjoyed this conversation. I could have got a little deeper, but I like to keep it light and fluffy.
Yeah,
so that's what I did.
So great, Carl.
Thank
so much
you.
fun.
All right. Bye. And you heard me say, I like to keep it light and fluffy. And you will notice that in all these interviews, I have different hair. Honey, if the hair is not hairing, a wig will go right on top of this head. I have no shame in my game at all. I will go there every single time. Brandon is talking to me a lot tonight. So he says, while we wait for Zootopia 3, heard that one of the directors, Byron Howard, teased a brand new WDAS original film for 2028. Ooh, that's good intel. Thank you, Brandon. You be coming with the facts. I love it. All right. So we've heard from Chase and we've heard from Regina. And now I know y'all have been waiting for this interview with my girl, Teyana Taylor. So let me just preface this by saying we get into a conversation because I was one of the Black female film critics who has some very definitive views about Teyana's role, Perfidia, in One Battle After Another. I was very, very opinionated about it. And I was encouraged to speak to Teyana to discuss it. And I have to tell you, Teyana Taylor is a very bright young woman, in addition to being a very talented one. And she literally changed my mind and is going to make me see this film again with a fresh new pair of eyes. But having said that, I want y'all to hear this conversation. I've truncated it. It's a lot longer of a conversation. You can see the longer conversation on YouTube because I had to truncate it for this podcast because it'll only let me upload an interview of a certain length. But what's going on with my chair? Okay. I really want you all to listen to this conversation with me and Teyana. It's a good one, and I enjoy talking to her, and I have an immense respect for her. So without
further ado, take a look and a listen to this interview with the woman who plays Perfidia in One Battle After Another, Miss Teyana Taylor.
All right, let's get into One Battle. So, did PTA describe what the origins of Perfidia were? Where did the name come from?
It's a song called Perfidia. I think it's like a Spanish song, like I want to say it's a Mexican song.
Oh,
And yeah, it's about like betrayal and like like Perfidia. It means a lot of things. She's really complex. But when he first called about Perfidia, because she is so complicated, he could barely even describe her. She was just one of them characters that's just like Perfidia is so complex. And it's no synopsis on her. There's no real bio. This is just a woman that you have to just have conversations about and find it when you read the words on the paper. You get what I'm saying? She's so multi-layered. And she's so flawed, but also so human and so raw and so authentic. And, she's unapologetically herself, whether we like it or not. A lot of her bad decisions was really built on her being in survival mode, you know what I'm saying? And feeling like she was all she had, you know?
yeah.
And I think that's why we also still kind of like empathize with her a little bit. It's like we don't agree with a lot of things that she do, but it's like you can still see like, damn, Perfidia, like, I want to like girl, you know what I'm saying? Like she's human. She's human.
As a Black woman who's navigating through different lanes in your life and your career, what battle after another have you been able to reconcile with?
One battle after another is what life throw at us, how we've been navigating life. We prevail, how we make it through, and again, I know I said a word like pacing earlier, like just pacing myself through this thing that we call life, even when things are being thrown at you. For me, it's been a faith walk, so I've been on a faith walk throughout these battles in life, and God has held me up and held me strong and has given me the strength. And that's what I'm just so proud of, you know what I'm saying? Because it is a lot of battles that we fight every day. Before you got on this call, you could have been dealing with things. Before I got on this call, I could have been dealing with things. But we can get up, get on this call, lift each other up, call each other sister, come on with a smile on our face. I think that's the importance, So I think life is one battle after another,
Speaking of one battle after another, how much did playing a mom with postpartum depression resonate with you as a real life mom? Because it's one thing to play that kind of character if you haven't had children, but it's a very different point of view when you've got kids.
Again, it is a lonely place, and it's very hurtful because you don't feel worthy, you don't feel beautiful, you don't feel seen, you don't feel heard. It's a lot of things you don't feel, and it's unfortunate because there's so many mothers that deal with it differently, and there's some mothers that have dealt with it in an even more, unfortunate way is even Perfidia. You get what I'm saying? So I think it was important to hit on that, but I can definitely go into that place of like, like having a hard time producing milk, like having babies on the bathroom floor, having that, it's just, again, I didn't have a lot of the same thoughts as Perfidia and how I handled my postpartum depression. But postpartum depression is very, very, very real. And I'm excited that this movie is creating that conversation, because a lot of her acting out, for people who don't have kids and don't understand, it's just like, yo, she's selfish, she's this, she's that, and the third. But it's like, is she really? Like I've seen a part where Bob had the opportunity to show up and step in when he put his ear to that door. And what'd he do? He backed away. He didn't step in. And sometimes it's step in the first time, see me the first time, hear me the first time. You get what I'm saying? And what you see is a woman feeling like she's putting herself first before any and everybody, and she don't care how y'all feel about that.
After reading this script, were you ever concerned about the hypersexualization for this role, and that folks may not be able to see or may not want to see through Perfidia's humanity and her actions that make her confident and not a victim of her circumstances?
All right. So everything that we've seen Perfidia go through as a Black woman, is that not what's done? We want these kind of circumstances to be talked about and not be held in the dark. So when we get that, we can't be upset about what needs to be spread. This is the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? This is what's happening to a lot of Black women. And for the most part of what we don't even get to see. So I think a movie shedding light on the harsh realities that is hard to see, that is hard to watch, I think is important. It shakes the table for necessary dialogue and healthy dialogue. I love the fact that it's, you know, so many conversations around the characters and what it stand for and what it mean. And, you know, I don't really like hitting on that because I don't ever want my words to get misconstrued. But I think when you see it more than once, you understand Perfidia more. You understand why she moved the way she moved, you know, like I have this person wrapped around my finger, this person who think they are power. So you have this strong-willed woman like Perfidia that's just like, I am the power. This is power. Whatever I say is power is power.
Let me tell you something. I really appreciate the way that you broke that down and the way that you explained it. I really, really do. Because if I'm gonna be 100, I saw the film and I felt some kind of way. But now that you have broken it down to me the way that you have, I'm gonna see it again with a different, fresh pair of
Exactly.
eyes.
Just see it with a fresh pair of eyes because I think when you first see it, right? And also I feel like I'm like everybody's niece. It's like it's like, oh, little Teyana, okay, let's see what she about to do. And I think you're going in expecting to see this Black woman have a cape hero. And the thing about
No,
it is,
I did not. I did
what
not.
you thought? What you thought coming in?
Well, I thought coming in, no. When I came in, I didn't know what to expect. I came in with a fresh pair of eyes. I had no expectations. I had nothing to compare to, or I had nothing.
Okay.
And so I came in and was like, ooh, okay. And I found it interesting that as uncomfortable as I was, I saw other women that weren't Black that were uncomfortable too. So it goes back to what you were speaking about, the fact that it is uncomfortable, and but it's uncomfortable because there's truth attached to uncomfortable.
Exactly, but it's also
truth,
but
right.
that still sets in the thing of, okay, you may not have walked into it saying I expect her to be a superhero, but a lot of people did. They wanted the arc. They wanted the, oh, she didn't get to redeem herself. Her story wasn't well written, and it's just like at the same time, artistically, Perfidia needed to fall for Willa to rise. The reality that Black women are the least protected. They are the least heard. We're told to sit down when we stand up. We're told to quiet up when we're too loud. And I think Perfidia is, I'm standing 10 toes down on who I am, whether you like it or not. You can't shut Perfidia up. You can't sit her down. You can't do any of the things. Oh, you like me? Oh, you playing? Now get it up. Oh, I got you to get it up with a gun in your head. I'm going to milk this. Now, it wound up backfiring on her. But it was one big pissing contest, you know what I'm saying? And I think if you're not looking at Perfidia literally, I think Perfidia overall is showing an example of a woman that is putting herself first, is standing up for herself, and showing up for herself. So to the people who have walked in expecting to see a Black woman superhero in this movie, and I think he still had a good representation of that. You still have Deandra. You still have this 16-year-old Willa. Like, I think he showed every piece of a woman. I think that every woman can look in and see certain things about themselves within the female characters.
Well, T, that's my time, but I want to say this to you before I go. You are repping Harlem, USA. You are repping Black women. You are repping the aunties. You are repping everything. You're repping everything that it means to be an intelligent, strong, fortuitous Black woman. And I am 10 toes down for you always, regardless of whatever project it is. And I'm so happy that you made time to talk to me in your car with your kids, because that speaks louder to me than anything else you will ever do in your life. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Carla. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too,
Sweet. Thank you, babe. Anything you need, just hit me.
I most certainly will. Thank you.
You.
Let me tell you what I love about that conversation. I went into that conversation feeling some kind of way. I had, like I said before the interview, I had very definitive views and an opinion. And what I also love is the fact that this young lady knows that, there are people out there like me, and she took time out of her day while she was doing something with her kids to talk to me and have this conversation. I will never, ever forget our conversation. I will never forget how we had what I like to call a pants down around the ankles, real conversation between two Black women, just having a conversation. It wasn't angry, it wasn't accusatory, it wasn't any of those things. We just talked and we understood what each other were saying, and we came to a conclusion that was satisfactory to both of us. So I just want to give a big thumbs up and a big snaps and claps to Warner Brothers and to Teyana Taylor for giving me the opportunity to have that conversation with her. And when I get off this call, I'm actually going to go watch the film again, because I haven't had time to do it for obvious reasons. It's the holiday season, child. Anyway, thank you, TT. And if I do need something, I will be hitting you up. Don't act like I won't, because I will. Bring. Anywho, Brandon got one more message for me. He says, I love the dynamic between Nick and Judy's relationship, and plus they're going to do Birds in 3. Yes. So when he talks about Nick and Judy, he's still talking about Zootopia 2. All right, you guys, check out these films. Again, my film, The Christmas Showdown, is coming on OWN this week. Okay, here we go. It's coming on OWN this week. It is going to be on December 6th. Make sure you check it out. These are all of the holiday films that will be showing on OWN. Fake a Merry Little Christmas, mine, The Christmas Showdown, and Very Merry Mystery are all coming on OWN during the holiday season. Check them out. Make sure you check out season 4 and all of the consequence seasons of Bel Air on the Peacock channel. Check out The Artist, and let me just give the banner for The Artist. That is the banner for The Artist. That is where you can check out Janet McTeer, who you've also seen in Harry Potter and Marvel's Jessica Jones. That is where you can check out The Artist. Write it down, take it down, and that is where you can see that show. I wanted to make sure that I got that to you guys, as I said I would. Also, check out Lucy Liu's new movie, Rosemead. It hits theaters on December 5th. Again, one battle after another with Teyana Taylor, Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Chase Infinity, and so many more. Check out their film. It is really worth the watch. And if you haven't already seen F1, directed by Joseph Kosinski and starring Brad Pitt and Damson Idris, make yourself available to see those. When I come back, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about a film called Dust Bunny. It's a Mads Mikkelsen, Byron Fuller film. And if you know anything about Byron Fuller, you know he's down with the horror and the scary. It's a Lionsgate roadside picture. And I'll deal with that next week. I have an interview with Brian and Mads Mikkelsen, which I will play at that time and do some more movie reviews. And then the 14th and the 21st, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may do like a little Christmas thing on the 21st, but when I hit the show on December 30th, which is the day before the last day of the year, I will do a preview of what is coming in 2026, and I won't be back until January 11th after that last show on December 30th. But until then, check me out and look at all my reviews at the link at the bottom, thecurvyfilmcritic.com. They are in written form. You can also check me on Fox 11 LA, where I was a couple of weeks ago talking about Wicked for Good. I'll be back there again this Wednesday talking about some new movies. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. Sorry, my nose is running. I don't know why. And watching this episode of The Curvy Film Critic with Carl Renata. If you're watching this on YouTube, give me a big thumbs up. Click that bell below for notifications. If you are watching via Facebook, Facebook Live, Instagram, LinkedIn, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Love, peace, and hair grease and deuces. Until the next time. Bye.
Hold up. Wait a minute.